Welcome back and let's get started. Today's agenda is we're going to discuss about what is public relations. We're going to discuss about the differences between PR and advertising. And I also want to look at some case studies to analyze about some of the PR initiatives that has happened in the recent past. So now let's get the ball rolling. What is public relations? We discussed about advertisement. Advertisement, the classic definition is it is a paid form of non-personal presentation of ideas, goods, and services by an identified sponsor. So if you don't see any of these elements, then that's not advertising. And with public relations, the main stress is all about persuasion. How do you persuade people to act them do something that you want? That is the key of public relations. And the persuasion can be defined as the act of using argument or reasoning to induce someone to do something. And I think that is the important characteristics of PR. But there is also a definition for public relations, and this is the definition of PR: creating understanding for or goodwill toward a company, a person, or a product. So a PR person can represent a big firm. It can be BP or AT&T or Westchester University, or it can represent a person like it can be for Keanu Reeves, or it can be for Tom Cruise, or it can be for Jessica Biel. So it can be for any person, not only celebrities, for even people like Elon Musk or Bill Gates or any person that you can think. They also make sure they have a PR person to disseminate information about themselves. And it can be even for a particular product. For instance, somebody wants to just launch a DVD or a Blu-ray for a certain aspect, so they can hire someone to promote that particular product also. Or it can be just something like multi-level marketing like Amway or anything. So it can be for n number of products that you can think of. So the basic thing is you try to create a good understanding or build trust for the company or for the person or for the product. That is the most important thing about PR. So give yourself some time and look at the definition of advertising and PR, and see what distinguishes between these two. Okay, so we discussed the definition of PR and advertising. What do you think is the difference between PR and ads? Give yourself some time, pause, and try to kind of understand what kind of distinguishes between these two concepts. Okay, so let's move on. So let's talk about the difference between PR and advertising. For instance, advertising is all about bought media. For instance, let me give you an hypothetical example. I'm going to launch a shampoo, and I'm representing a company, and they said like no, I got about $1 million for ads, so you please market my shampoo. Then I will think of what, because as a PR, what I think is how do I efficiently use the money so that I can get the target audience that I need to reach. So who's my target audience? Target audience, mostly it's going to be women, and how I'm going to reach women. So where are the places they spend most of the time? So radio, television, or newspapers, or the internet. So I have to think of various items. So that's a big strategy altogether. But what I do is I allot $1 million into, like, I invest about $200,000 for television, maybe another $100,000 for radio, maybe $50,000 for newspapers, another $50,000 for some local level reach in terms of local newspapers. So I can do a lot of approach. What I do is I buy the space. So if it's a TV, I buy a 30-second spot or a 1 minute spot. Or if it's for a radio, again I buy a spot for 10 minutes and then spread it over a couple of weeks. If I want to buy a spot for newspapers, I buy space. Like usually the front page is very expensive, so I buy sometimes in the third page or the fourth page. So advertising is all about buying a media, and then finding the space. And I have the total control. I can come up with a slogan, let your hair shine, or something like that, I can come up with my shampoo's name as something like I'm just trying to bring out my creative juice. I can look at something like um, shiny. I don't know, some nice name for the shampoo. Okay, and I have the own space. I can create my own slogan, and I can kind of have my own flexibility in terms of how I portray my brand. So that's advertisement, okay? And it can be for print and newspapers and radio, even billboards or even the internet, okay? So again, I'm going to use the same concept for using a PR, okay? So now PR, as a PR guy, I also am in charge of promoting this shampoo. So what I said about PR is creating, goodwill or understanding for a company or a product or a person. In this case, it's a shampoo, right? So how do I promote this shampoo for media coverage? Okay, so what I will do is I'll be very smart in terms of trying to find someone to pitch my concept. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to go and ask. I'm going to find some nice models, and I'm going to make them do come up with some nice event in a mall. Okay, and in that way, I'm going to find someone who has the longest hair in Pennsylvania. Okay, I'm going to get hold of her, and I'm going to make her come to a mall at King of Prussia, and then I'm going to make her just talk about my shampoos to all the people coming, and that itself is going to attract people. Okay, so I'm going to send this material to the local television, to the local radio stations and local newspapers. Man, I got a person who's got the longest hair in Pennsylvania, and she's going to be at King of Prussia Mall, and she's going to do some kind of events. So you better please come and do some media coverage for your television station or a radio station. So what I will do is I'm smart enough to get those people and get some coverage, and then the local radio station, they talk about, what, it can make me even funny, right? They can, what, there is a girl who was at the King of Prussia Mall who's going to come this Saturday. She claims she's got the longest hair. Who knows she's even has the longest hair, and who even gives some certification for that? Okay, so they might even make fun of that. Okay, so, and I can try to get some local newspapers to cover that event. So how PR people manage to get the same media space without paying any money? This is PR. Okay, so the same shampoo I can promote by buying the media, but the same shampoo product I can use some effective strategies to be covered in media for free. And that's what it's all about. We use publicity, we use crisis management or public affairs and press release and news conferences and interviews. These are the tools pretty much the PR people use to get coverage in media. Imagine there are 24 hours for television stations, radio stations, and newspapers to fill the sections. And these are some great ways to get some kind of content, because see, sometimes people will be running out of content. Sometimes there'll be so much content they won't cover certain things. That's why you see all this PR events and all will be usually between Tuesday to Thursday, because that's the time when the news is very low and they want some kind of content to be covered in their sections. So the basic difference is, understand the basic difference. The purpose of advertisement is for brand awareness or sales. So basically, we discussed about how Nike has promoted itself and how McDonald's has pitched itself. So they've kind of made sure the brand is in the minds of every people. Okay, that's brand awareness. That's the main purpose of advertisement. But the main purpose of public relation is building reputation, building trust, either for a company or for a product or for people. I think a lot of times in Times Square, New York, they will have some kind of singers or celebrities do some flash dance and flash mob, so that they try to kind of build some rapport with the people there and all that stuff. So again, understand the main purpose of advertisement is brand awareness, and the main agenda for public relations is reputation or building trust. And the media is, as I told you, we have to buy the media for advertisement, but in the PR we have to earn. Okay, so A lot of people use a lot of strategies, especially the PR firms, to get some free coverage in newspaper and in television and radio and all that stuff. And again, what are the content? Okay, so it's usually advertisements and commercials. Commercials is a term that pretty much used for slots that's in radio or television, and advertisement is something that can be applicable in both, but it's predominantly for print. And PR, the content is basically releases. What is releases? So as a PR firm, as I told you, I'm doing a shampoo product PR pitch. So I can draft a press release to the local newspapers and news stations saying, um, uh, the Queen of Long Hair comes to King of Prussia Mall. That's my headline, and I'll have a brief, detailed, story of what it is all about, what are we expected to do, how many people are going to come, what is the news value in that. So I can try and convince the news station editors to send some kind of people or reporters to cover the event, and that's what it's all about. And pitches is all about how do you actually convince the people to cover certain events. Because what happens is I will call up some radio producer or television producer. You know what, I think Stephen King is coming to town next week to Westchester, and I'm going to give you an exclusive interview with Stephen King. I mean, I'm going to give you 30-minute space. If you want, you can use it. So I try and pitch. So what happens is Stephen King is coming to Westchester. Okay, that's a PR event, but he's coming to launch his book. That is his agenda. Okay, but they also use some local media coverage. So as they said, okay, Stephen King is coming to Westchester to meet with students, but also they will plug this concept that he's also promoting his new book about blah blah all this stuff. And word of mouth, like, that's what, we just talk about something and I just tell someone and he tells someone and she tells someone, and it becomes viral. So that's again word of mouth, which public relations is one of the content that people use. So you should have a very clear idea of the differences that exist between advertising and PR. Okay, so let's get rolling. And we looked at some of the tools for PR. We looked at publicity and crisis management and all that. What is publicity? It is the uncontrolled free use of media by a PR firm to create events and present information to capture press and public attention. Okay, and as I told you, that shampoo ad, which I was shampoo concept, which I said was promoting, that's called publicity. Like, I'm getting free media coverage, and that is the most important thing. And let's look at some of the cool PR stuff that we can talk about. Okay, so let's look at an hypothetical example. Okay, imagine you are working for Rams PR agency. Okay, and we have a client who are the producers of Jurassic World, Amblin Entertainment. They are based in New York. They also have branches in Los Angeles. So they approached me and said, "Hey, people, I mean, since you have a lot of folks working in your company, can you promote this concept that you're thinking of?" I'm asking, what is that? So they recently released a movie. The budget of the movie is 1.5 billion dollars. Okay, but they are set aside 150 million dollars for their Blu-ray launch. Okay, so people have the movie has been released. Okay, it's almost 6 months since the 3 months since the movie came out, and now they want to focus on making money from their Blu-ray launch. So how do I go about doing it? Okay, so they said, like, I got 150 million dollars. You can take 2% of the commission, and you can deal with stuff for me. So now you have to figure out. Okay, pause. I want you to pause and write or think about what are some of the strategies that you will use to promote Jurassic World Blu-ray. Pause and give yourself some time, and I want you to come up with some ideas. Okay, good. Now this is what people have done. Okay, so they approached a PR firm in London, and this is what they did. What they did was they hired one local artist who does real life kind of architecture, life size architecture. So he manages to recreate one of the scene from Jurassic World, and made sure they added in the middle of the London city. and it's just easier said than done because it requires a lot of official paperwork. We have to get clearance from the local county, and we have to get clearance from the police and all the other stuff because we have to make sure it's safe for the people. So they managed to recreate it, and then they managed to get some attention from people as well. People who suddenly passing by like, what is this all about? And then they'll think, oh, okay, that then they add some local coverage in the radio station, the television station, and all that, and people want to know what's happening here. There is a big life size kind of shark and all the dinosaur stuff in the middle of London Thames, and that's beautiful idea. Yeah, so this is a great idea, this is a great publicity stunt, and it got a lot of coverage in the local media, and it goes well. So they'll cover this and they say this is just to promote their Blu-ray title, okay, and then people will be interested. Some people, okay, oh man, maybe I think I should watch the Blu-ray or something, because you won't be able to see it in theaters anymore because it might have run down, or they've taken off the movie theaters. So this is how people are convinced or persuaded to do something, and that's how smart PR firm works. So imagine, okay, this is some of the news article which was based off of the one which you saw. Jurassic World's Mosasaurus jumps through the South Bank. A replica of aquatic monster Mosasaurus, which featured in Universal Pictures blockbuster Jurassic World, has landed on London South Bank. Okay, and again he talks about in detail, blah 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 blah, and they also see the stunt celebrates Jurassic World release on digital HD, 3D, Blu-ray, and DVD of that. So this is what is smart PR. Okay, so how they managed to get some local news coverage, and the next thing is it also got a lot of other stuff, like not only with regard to this particular stuff. It also talks about the man behind the famous ball in the wall at Cardiff Castle, because he does a lot of initiatives like this, so he's getting a lot of publicity for his own growth as well. So this is how media is all about. Okay, there is a lot of space for people to promote themselves, the product, the people involved, and a lot of concepts that you can possibly think of. So this is a smart initiative, and let's see what is this all about.
Because I am. The Arnold has a blast pranking fans at Madame Tussauds. But the fans, not so much. I'm Mara Montalbano for Buzz 60. To promote his latest Terminator film and raise money for charity, Arnold Schwarzenegger brought his character back to life and scared some unsuspecting people to death. It's the oldest trick in the famous Wax Museum's book, getting a celeb to pretend they're a statue and then... Thank you. Well, you know, the best part of his Terminator tour, besides seeing how much he's aged since the movie series first came out, is seeing him interact with people.
See, this is a fantastic idea. Again, see how they can get. See, in this one, they're promoting that, but also they're talking like, no, the fans were not really happy with it and all that. But some other television sites, shows, or other channels, they might promote this in a different way. So this is what matters. So PR all about earned media. You manage to convince people to cover your event, and that's one example. And there is another example also, I think. I hope. I guess at some point you would have seen this video. It was a viral video, and this poor cop was featured in many of the national television shows and all that. But if you look at it, it was a PR stunt by the Dover Police Department, where they completely kind of recreated, they kind of created this entire thing, because there was a lot of backlash that was happening about cops in the media for the killing spree and all that. So they wanted to kind of get some kind of positive image and positive presentation of cops among the people, and they made this video and they promoted it. Okay, so it was just a PR stunt, but then a lot of people will be not very aware of the fact that, oh, this was just some random stuff they got online from a dash cam and they presented, but it was completely staged. So sometimes, as a media literate person, you will need to be understand whether why is this information is being shown to me in the first place, why am I reacting in this way. So these are the questions you need to constantly ask yourself when you see that you are being persuaded to do something. So these are some of the things that you have to be constantly keeping in mind, and this is one such example. And this is again an Instagram page that I found out. You can see, I mean, she's a pretty girl, and you can see some of the pictures of her. And just tell me, what do you think of these pictures? She's from France, and she has a lot of followers on Instagram. And I want you to spend some time looking at the pictures. Pause and look at some of the pictures. I also want you to look at these pictures as well. Take your time and look at these pictures. What do you think of these pictures? Okay. So if you look closely, it might look as if she's having fun, but if you notice very carefully that she is alcoholic, because over a period of time she's been always with drinks everywhere. So this is actually a PR firm who's representing this organization called Addict Aid. So this is an agency called BETC, where they are trying to say, like, yes, having fun is good, having party is good, having a drink is good, but then when you're going to do that on a regular cycle, that's a sign of alcoholism, which people might not catch it initially, and once you get addicted to it, and then it has a lot of repercussions in your life. So this is how they are trying to even use social media to promote certain concepts. And this PR firm has done a very good idea in terms of promoting her. They have about, like, 108,000 followers, but then it also kind of talks about the negative aspects of alcoholism. Okay, so these are some PR firms does some nice way to build their base and the concepts. And another concept I want to talk to you is about cyber smear. Okay, what is cyber smear? Negative information that is organized and presented on the internet as continuing attacks against a corporation. For one example is, I can give you about the United Airlines, how they handled a passenger recently, and this is what we saw. I don't know if you're familiar with the Walking Dead series. He's one of the character Negan, where he's supposed to be kind of a thug, where he kills people randomly, and that's what he talks about. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which passenger has to go? I think a lot of people who watch the series get the joke, but people who don't watch The Walking Dead, they may not get the comedy behind that. And some people made this meme: Southwest, we beat our competitors, not you. And I think people, like, they try to make use of this kind of situation to promote other companies as well. And look at some of the people on Twitter, what they're saying: bored as a doctor and leave as a patient. Hashtag new United Airlines motto. And we'll seat you, then we'll beat you. So these are all the funniest things. But then it is actually negatively portraying the company of United Airlines, and that is called a cyber smear. And when this happens so bad, sometimes people have to step in, because there was a time again when United, there was something called United breaks guitar. A guy whose guitar was broken by United, he went on, posted his stuff on YouTube, it became viral, and I'm not exaggerating. United lost millions of dollars after the first week of that, because of their slump in the shares. So it can have disastrous consequences for the company, for the organization, and that's when the PR people will step in. And that's what is called crisis communication. It is called a timely public relation intervention to a very serious situation that could affect the reputation of a company. Okay, and this is exactly because United Airlines is going through some tough phase, and the PR people stepped in, and they tried to do something so that they kind of make the situation better. Also, in some situation they call spin doctors, which is a very slang way, because spin doctors is something where they are known to kind of change the situation upside down, even though clearly the concerned organization is at guilt. Okay, and but some people disagree with the fact that they don't like PR personals or PR people to be termed spin doctors. They think it's kind of derogatory. And let's look at another example. Okay, so this guy's name is Matt Corby. He's from Australia, and one day he just went to Subway to grab a foot-long Subway, And then I don't know whether he was bored or he was kind of really pissed off. He actually measured his foot long subway, and it was only 11 inches. And he posted it on the subway's Facebook page saying, like, please respond. I mean, you charge me for $1. You charge me for a foot long and you give me 11 inches. Don't you think that's not good? And so this is what the subway reacted. Read this and feel what do you think of Subway's reaction to Matt Corby. Okay, I want you to hold the thought and express it in your feedback or in the class test. Okay, so I want you to give me your reaction or your feedback for how the Australian Subway reacted for this post, and what do you think of this. The next one is, again, I also wanted to give you another case study. Okay, so let's look at a situation like this. It's a crisis. Again, there is going to be a lot of room for cyber smear. This really happened in Chicago. Seven people died after taking extra strength Tylenol capsules that had been laced with potassium cyanide, a deadly poison. The killer was never found. So this is a real life situation. This happened in Chicago, and the concerned organization is a big pharmaceutical company where they make Tylenol. Okay, so what do you think you can do in this kind of situation? Give yourself some time, and I want you to answer. How would you react to a situation like this? If you are a PR personnel and you are called in to address the situation. So let's look at how a professional PR agency handled this. So the company is J&J. The company put customer safety first. It pulled out 31 million bottles of Tylenol worth $100 million across the United States and stopped all production and advertising of the product. It got involved with the Chicago police, FBI, and FDA in the search for the killer and offered up to $100,000 reward. So this is what they wanted to step in and diffuse the situation. This is what the company did based on the PR firm's intervention. But then, post crisis, they also worked how they can avoid this kind of incident to happen. What they found out was, earlier it was easy for anybody to open the bottle, put something, and close it back. Okay, so and now they invested their money in building containers which were tamper proof. So, and also the FDA came in and said, like, if you see the label is broken or the seal is broken, you please return it. So that's why all these things are in place right now to ensure that these things are addressed. And they also gave a $2.50 off coupon. It's some kind of ways to build trust. Imagine, you're sick and you will take Tylenol and you die. What happens? That's it. Your life is gone, right? So, but they want to kind of make sure these things doesn't happen, and they're taking all these initiatives to build the trust back. So the result is, it is a classic case studies across many countries how Tylenol responded to this incident. And again, this is a classic study of how PR firm intervention can be really a lifesaver for the organization. So that's what I wanted you to understand. That PR firm can sometimes make situations good or even worse. I wanted to share you another story. Okay, this was another stuff that happened in Los Angeles. It was an event organized by a radio station. Hold your P for V. That's a video game. That's the title. Hold your P for V. Video game console. And a lot of people applied for it, and they had this station game in their station where people were asked to drink 2 bottles of water, go into a room, and they had to see who comes out first, and whoever stays the last holding the P gets a V video game console. So this lady was a single mom. She went, she participated. She was holding this bee, and she couldn't. She didn't win, but then she died because what happened was she was trying to hold pee for a long time, and that affected her kidneys, and eventually she died. See, oh, some kind of events also backfire miserably. So it's not always like a fairy tale finish or classic ending, or people are happily ever after. Sometimes it can even backfire. Events, PR events, and strategies. The intention may be good, but can completely misfire as well. So it can be detrimental for the organization as well. So that's what we have to be very careful. I hope you have a very clear understanding about what is public relations and what are the differences between PR and advertisement, and what is cyber smears and crisis communication, and some campaigns studies that we discussed with regard to PR. You all have a nice day, and I will see you soon.